We're back now with a big I-team investigation. Tonight, a doctor is accused of turning a local clinic into a pill mill.
According to medical records, he writes more oxycodone prescriptions than any other doctor in New York State. He's being investigated by the DEA, and one former patient says she's hooked on pain pills because of him. The News 4 I-team's Chris Glorioso has part 2 now of our special series, Prescription for Addiction.
It just angers me, because I went to him for treatment.
She is a 37-year-old pain patient who tearfully admits she is dependent on oxycodone.
And now I'm addicted to something that people prescribe for you.
For her addiction, she blames herself, but she also blames a doctor that the I-team first identified as prescribing unusually high numbers of pain pills.
Is there any explanation for the high volume of OxyContin?
Medicaid records show Dr. Tomasito Varay wrote an average of 60 oxycodone scripts per week, costing taxpayers more than $400,000 last year. On a recent Tuesday, the Bronx clinic was crowded with patients. Many cars out front had out-of-state plates. This former patient says the out-of-staters come here because this is a pill mill.
Have you ever seen anybody get a prescription from Dr. Varay and then walk out, fill it, and sell it?
To be honest, yes.
Are you convinced this is a pill mill?
I totally am.
Bronx City Council member Annabelle Palma says in just the last year, more than 200 people have called her office complaining of drug dealers and addicts loitering outside Dr. Varay's clinic. A police spokeswoman says officers have been called here about 40 times in the last 18 months for things like illegal narcotic sales, medical assists, and larceny.
I started coming out more frequently and noticing all the activity that was going on, and then that's when I was convinced that it was a pill mill.
When we visited, some of the people going in and out of the office threatened they would have beaten us up had it been dark outside.
You're lucky. You're lucky it's daytime.
The threat of violence is why this former patient asked us to protect her identity. She's afraid exposing Dr. Varay might make her a target for revenge by his loyal patients. When we talked to Dr. Varay on the phone, he defended his patients and his prescribing habits.
I examine them. Each patient that comes in, okay, there are certain ways of examining them, okay? Once I see the patient is addicted, I refer them for detoxification, like rehab.
Did he ever physically examine you?
Nope.
Did he ever ask you your drug history?
Nope. This is the type of practice that you can go to, no questions asked.
If you prescribe it for a correct medical legitimate purpose, then it's fine. But in that case, it's not a legitimate purpose.
Dr. Andrew Kaufman is a pain management expert who consults for the DEA.
You've just handed someone a prescription and someone's paid you for that. That's dealing. That's not being a doctor.
On the phone, Dr. Varay told us he does demand drug tests and examines patients for signs of withdrawal and addiction. Varay also said he's a good pain doctor because he takes OxyContin himself to cope with severe bleeding ulcers.
Doctor, how much OxyContin do you take yourself?
It depends on the day.
As a physician, he should be mindful of the oath that he took to care for people, and his practices don't coincide with that oath.
Dr. Varay himself told us the DEA audited him and recently demanded he reduce his patient load by 50%. He says he did that. Despite outcry from Councilmember Palma and neighbors of the clinic, Dr. Varay's office was open today dispensing pills. The hope is that some of the legislation pushed by Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, the I-Stop legislation, will put a stop to much of this doctor shopping that allows these high-volume prescribers to continue doling out the pills.
So still open and still in business.
So far, unbelievable.
All right, Chris, thank you. And if you have some